So GB Plus says, let alone at the beginning of the sentence. How can we use it properly? I would say let's put it at the end of a sentence or the middle of a sentence instead, and not focus on the beginning part, and just talk about what let alone means, how it's generally used. I'm going to talk about the most common usage of let alone. It's a very interesting expression because it lets you do something that's kind of hard to do otherwise. It's not easy to compare usually the difficulty of something with something else with an example that makes it very clear. And that's what this allows us to do, let alone. All right, so let's use the example of creating a website. Okay? Now, what's more difficult? Coding a website, building it yourself with HTML, HTML5, and CSS, knowing all the code, building it from scratch, or using a website builder like Wix or Squarespace, right? Obviously, that one's going to be easier, of course. So let's say we want to focus on the difficulty of both, and someone suggests something. Well, you want to build a website, why not just code it out? Right? Just build it. And the other person says, are you kidding me? I'm struggling to figure out how to use Squarespace, let alone coding. Okay, so we're saying that coding the website is up here in difficulty, harder. Squarespace, building it without code, putting the pieces together, right? Figuring all that stuff out, doing the integrations, all of that, is here in difficulty. So we have one thing that's here and one thing that's harder than that. And so basically the formula is, I'm struggling with A, let alone B. Meaning, you're insane to suggest B to me. Because for me, A is hard enough. I can barely do A, let alone B. That's basically it. That's basically the structure. And when you use it like that, you're comparing the extreme difficulty. Usually it's used for difficulty. Not always used for difficulty, but it's most typically used for difficulty. You're comparing how extreme a suggestion from someone else is, and that's B, with A by defining how difficult A is. So you focus on A. You describe A. You say, well, I can't do this, let alone, and when you say let alone B, let alone code it myself, you don't need to describe it that long. You don't need to spend much time talking about it because you've spent so much time talking about A, using Squarespace or Wix, and how difficult that is for you, figuring out how to get all the plugins to work and all of that stuff, that all you have to do is say, let alone B, let alone code it myself. And then people know, oh, wow, so B is out of the question, impossible, ridiculous. You won't be able to do that, right? That's it. That's how we use it. Now, you could use it for other situations as well, I suppose. You can use it to talk about things that are not only difficult, but other characteristics. It is most common to use with difficulty. And that's what will come into people's minds first when they hear let alone, let alone. What if it's disgust? Could we use it for something like disgust? Yeah, we could. So let's say, for example, someone doesn't like to eat chicken. Okay. Now, what would be something that's chicken, but slightly more extreme chicken? Well, how about a weird bird? Like, I don't know, those baby chicks that are in the eggs, and sometimes people eat them directly from the eggs. The baby chicks are actually in there. You eat the baby chick. In some places in the world, people eat that, right? Okay. So someone says, do you want one of these? Now, to me, when I see that, I go, it's a baby bird. You want me to eat that? No, I would then say, I barely eat chicken, let alone whole baby birds when I have to crunch their bones, right? Let alone that. So to talk about, and I actually do eat chicken without difficulty, but it's just an example, right? And you could say that for spicy food as well, right? I can barely eat jalapeno peppers, let alone habanero peppers, whatever it happens to be. It's one thing is more extreme than the other. While it is more typical for difficulty, you could use it for disgust, for spice, for taste, for opinion, anything that's more extreme than another thing. So hopefully that's clear. GB+, hopefully that makes sense. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe and follow, and also don't forget to check out my courses, my full English courses, in the links in the description. Just check them out. You can actually, you might not know this, you can preview the first 2 lessons of each course for free. Okay? You can check out the first 2 lessons for free. It's good. Check it out.